Hello and welcome to the Conscious Leadership Podcast. My name is Julie Hogbin and I am the creator of the 3 weekly episodes that are produced: Wealth Wednesday, the A to Z of Business on Friday, and a longer content piece or interview on a Monday. If you like what you hear, please share this podcast if you think it would support and help somebody else. This Monday edition of the Conscious Leadership Podcast, I thought would be timely to do an episode on habits. And I've written articles on habits in the past, and thinking about a conversation I've been having recently with various people, thought I'd go into a definition before we go into any detail. And this is probably going to be one of a number that I am going to donate to the subject of habits because it is so important. So, habit definition, and there are a few. A habit is a settled or regular tendency of practice. A habit is a routine of behaviour. A habit is a repeated action. So the basic definition of a habit is something we do regularly as a routine that we repeat. And one definition that I read mentioned that habit is especially hard to give up, which it can be, of course. And within the definitions, there was a general tendency to take a habit as a negative thing. And that's always got me thinking about, what habits do we generate for ourselves? What habits do we inherit from others? And what habits are we influenced into by the media and those around us? And when you think about habits, and it's that routine, something that we do regularly, repeated, habits are linked to everything we do. Just a few really clear, maybe, examples. So how we walk is a habit. How we breathe is a habit. Our relationship with money is a habit. Our relationship with investments is a habit. Our personal relationships, how we communicate. In fact, everything we do, probably 95% of what we do, is a habit. And the majority of what we do, we have to have as a habit, because habits make it really easy for us to do the thing that we do without having to think, which of course means that habits can be both good for us and bad for us. And everything we do as a regular, repeated and routine action without thinking about it, which is what habit is, compounds. So let's look at where the word comes from. It originates from Latin, habere, and the word's original meaning was a state of being or condition. Later translated into habitus, which is condition or appearance, which is where the nun's habit originates from. And when you think about language, all meanings of all language is established by how we use the word and our force of habit. So thinking about the original meaning, state of being or condition, our habits are exactly that. They are our condition and state of being. It's the combination of everything we do that form our habits and create our condition. And of course, habits can be for good and not so good. And it's all a perception. We do something because we want the result it provides for us, which to others may not always be perceived as positive. And when we want to change something for whatever reason, we need to unlearn one habit to relearn and embed a new habit. And there's a really famous book written by Stephen Covey called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that book has had a massive impact on many people. And Stephen defined the habits, or identified the habits from a lot of research, as being proactive, begin with the end in mind, Put first things first. Think win-win. Seek first to understand and then be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw. Thinking about success habits, what do they look like for you? And do you use them regularly enough as part of your everyday life, or is something you turn on and off? And I have to admit, I turn some of my success habits on and I turn them off. And it's only when I bump into something that I realise the habit's been turned off because I haven't fully embedded it. My old habits play a bigger part, sadly, I have to say. And that's just the truth of habits. So here's some even bigger questions for you. What does success look like for you? What does success mean for you? And what is your vision for personal success? Think about those 3 questions for yourself, and then look at your habits, and are they going to get you to what success means and looks like for you? Habits evolve as well over time, and habits are linked into culture. So the culture we surround ourselves with, the environment that we are in. And there's new knowledge that's discovered on how the brain and body works. So for those of you that have been listening to various episodes of this podcast or have listened to me on social media or read my posts on social media, I do constantly learn. And I was listening to a podcast recently, and there's been more recent research done on successful individuals. And again, it comes back to what does success mean? But here's 5 that have been identified that are being repeated by many people in their dialogue with their followers. Many successful people get up at the same time every day. Now, it doesn't have to be the 5 a.m. club, but they get up at a regular time. They will always drink a pint of water before they drink anything else. Now, the reason behind this is because when you sleep, you dehydrate every time you expel air, as we do during the day as well. And of course, when we sleep, we're 8 hours, if we get it right, of sleep where we are not taking an intake of fluid. So every time you expel air, you are dehydrating. Therefore, when you wake up in the morning, if you drink water rather than anything else, which could be a stimulant like tea or coffee, you are rehydrating your brain. It fires your brain up to get that functioning first and initially and well. The 3rd habit is exercise. So remembering that true wealth covers 3 key areas: health, spiritual growth, and our own personal economic situation. And without all 3 in balance, at some point, there is a potential to fall over. The 4th one that the majority of people are now talking about is meditation. Time for self, time for reflection, time for connection. And then the 5th one is reading. There is always something in there for successful people around learning of some description. Now, I say reading, it could be listening to Audible, Blinkist. There is always in there around learning, which all become part of the routine and the habit, which, going back to Stephen Covey's work, is about keeping it's about keeping your saw sharpened. Any habit we have in any walk of life that we're in compounds. Every habit and any habit compounds for the good and the not so good. And it's really quite a simple process to go through about identifying your habits. And to do that, you have to be self-aware. Let me give you 3 words. Write them down. Think about these. So intention, attention, outcome. So what your intention is, when you pay attention to it, you will get the outcome that you desire. Now, those intentions and attentions can be habits. So think about, if you're not getting the outcome you desire, that is part of your, what does success look like for you? Think about what your intention and where your attention is going. So I learn constantly. And I was listening to somebody talking about results and how that is so goal-driven, so focused, that I did actually in those 3 words have the final word, results. And I changed it to outcome. Now everything is a result, and an outcome is just another word for a result. And the outcomes you get are as a result of where your intention and your attention goes. And that's for everything we do. Our intentions become our habits, and with regular use, therefore our outcomes are as a result of our intentions. And when you think about this, once you control yourself, rather than your habits controlling you, you will create a cascading effect onto every facet of your life. And when you think about this, it isn't around the survival of the fittest, it's the survival of those that are adaptable to the change. And whoever can adapt better, quicker, whatever those words mean, whatever that time scale is, are those that will achieve the best and better outcomes for them, for themselves, for their businesses, and for those around them. This is a first episode on habits. I am going to do more. I think it's a really important subject to A, to understand, and then to B, to apply. So I'm on various habit changing processes at the moment. I'm sharing some of that on social media. I will keep on sharing that, because by sharing your journey, sharing what you're doing, sharing how you're changing, sharing what you're trying to do, I say trying, using the word specifically because I don't always succeed, but getting out there and attempting to do these things, truly understanding self, creating that self-awareness, looking at where your habits come from, why you have the habit you have, and then how can you possibly change it, is a very powerful starting position to achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve as your outcome within your life. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Conscious Leadership Podcast. If you have any questions, please contact me on any one of the social media channels. I'm on most of them, including Clubhouse and YouTube, and my books are on Amazon. If you would like a topic discussed, please tell me. And if you have found this information useful, please share and please leave a review.